Well, it seems like another year has been added to my life. And boy, oh boy, do I have a lot of things to say about it. In this birthday special today, last year for 2015, I did a face reveal. And for this year, I'm just going to be doing a simple reflection on my experiences on YouTube and just life in general. So let's get straight into this video. So I understand that some of you watching this video may be newer supporters, some of you may be older supporters. So, for those of you who might not know, this channel was originally a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, and I'm not going to go into the whole history of what I went through with Yu-Gi-Oh, but in a nutshell, I pretty much just started off just making Yu-Gi-Oh videos because I saw that there were a lot of, people who were playing Yu-Gi-Oh around the time. This was around 2011 to 2013, and I saw a lot of decks that were giving people problems, and I was dominating these decks with a very, I guess you could say, unconventional strategy to win with my Apocalypse deck. And to just simplify these terms, I was pretty much defying what the average Yu-Gi-Oh player was doing. There's something called meta and the anti-meta. I was basically building a deck from scratch that was just winning a lot of games, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on how to beat the meta because I just didn't like the game. I didn't like the decks that people were using, and I wanted to beat them. I was motivated to play Yu-Gi-Oh because I wanted to prove I could beat those top tier decks. It's a selfish reason, but it's an honest reason. And I did this for some time until, I just fell out of love with the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, for my channel, I pretty much was doing some things like AMVs. I tried out some Pokemon. Like, if you go back to the really early stages of my YouTube channel, you will see that there was just random videos. I did not know what the hell I wanted to upload. And I've talked to Geekdom about this a lot. And Mike from Laughingstock Media, and Super Jayain, and Hail Zeon, and Blackenfist, everybody that I collaborate with, even Josh from Dragon Ball Nation. Pretty much everybody that I've talked to, I've always told them that they probably came onto YouTube with the most prepared mindset, and I wasn't. When I started doing my first Dragon Ball video, it was literally just a random idea. I was always a curious fan of the series, and I always wanted to talk Dragon Ball with people. And one thing that always boggled my mind was I've always felt that I understood future Gohan should be weaker than his present counterpart. But it just hit me. It's like, I understand he should be weaker, but he shouldn't have been that much weaker. And it always scratched my head, and I decided to do a video about it. Put some random footage in the background. Some people liked it, and I just kept doing a few videos just out of boredom because I had some free time. My college load wasn't as heavy at the time. And the honest truth is, I did it because I was bored. I didn't care about tags and titles and retention and what type of music I should play. My early videos, I didn't even play music. I didn't care about editing very good videos. I didn't care if the videos had low resolution. My microphone quality was complete trash. And my videos just weren't good. And I talked to Hail Zeon about this all the time, and he wasn't a fan of my videos. And he, in many ways, was surprised of how I got to where I was on YouTube because my older videos just weren't that good. And what I always tell him is that I didn't care. I didn't look at myself as a person who should really invest that much time into YouTube. And, to continue this story, one thing led to another. I started taking it more serious because I just really wanted to share my thoughts. And I started investing more time into YouTube. And hence, by the end of 2013, from pretty much me beginning YouTube at the end of 2011, I did an alternate timeline theory, and that was the first video that I would say I put a lot of effort into editing. I mean, that video was insanely difficult. I had a person whose name I'll leave anonymous. His name is Mr. Dr. Professor Sir. That's his username. He helped me edit the video because I didn't even know how to do those complex things now. With Adobe Premiere now, though, I could do that alternate timeline theory significantly better, but back then I just didn't know what to do. And funny enough, guys, I'm making these videos, things are going up, people are liking the channel, and before all of this happened, I met Blackenfist, and he was kind of the only one that was, I guess you could say, doing something similar to me. So this is the pre-geekdom, pre-Mike from Laughingstock Media, pre-Rhyme Style, pre-Thundershot. This was an era where, like, I didn't know any of these guys. I didn't even know they existed, and these guys didn't even think about making videos back then. So pretty much there was nobody who really did Dragon Ball discussions. I mean, there was a YouTuber called Super Saiyan Goshen. She did some Dragon Ball discussions, a few here and there. I always knew about Maria MsDBZBabe. And pretty much the most popular, I guess you could say, Dragon Ball YouTuber back then would be Vegito1089, who was very popular for his power levels. I mean, he was by far the #1 Dragon Ball YouTuber back then because everybody knew about his power levels. He had the most popular power levels on the internet because nobody was doing those types of videos. And I saw that Blackenfist had done 2 videos where he was talking about Soba and Shu and like the name changes, and he was talking about like what does the Z stand for in Dragon Ball Z. And I said to myself, it's like, this guy is really interesting. You know, why don't I decide to make videos with him? So, you know, I can't omit the Blackenfist part of the story. I don't want to go too much in detail because I've explained it before, but pretty much Blackenfist and I were intermittent YouTubers in the sense that we didn't take it that seriously. I mean, if you guys tease him now about his upload frequency, I mean, if you think he doesn't upload frequently now, you should have seen back then. I mean, he would go for months without a video. So, and I'm saying this jokingly because I didn't even upload that often myself. I uploaded maybe once every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. I didn't take it that serious myself. So the funny thing is, so we just do videos here and there. We're not that close to each other as friends. We're just like, you know, hey, just this random guy I chatted with in the comment section. And the only reason I even noticed Blackenfist was because I noticed how he was commenting on my videos so frequently. So we were like friends, but we were nowhere near as close as we were. And eventually, you know, our bond really increased when I really needed help with some footage, because when I was starting off on YouTube, I had a limited array of footage that I could use to show people, and it was making it very hard because I wanted to show people clips and I was limited in the videos I could do. And believe it or not, with a very unorthodox method, Blackenfist managed to send me the entire Dragon Ball series through Skype. And it took about 3 to 4 weeks to do this. And funny enough, right after Blackenfist sends me all these clips, the crappy computer I was using crashed. And I'm pretty sure, you know, some of my older supporters remember this. I had like about 2 months where I didn't upload something because I didn't have a computer. And pretty much from there on out, I saved up money. I bought a much better computer. Ironically, I gave that computer away to a friend. And, you know, I started, you know, having an ability to do a lot more with my videos. And pretty much from there on out, I started taking my videos to the next level. So going back to that whole thing with Zeon, pretty much 2013 was when I started to figure out what type of videos I like doing with Dragon Ball. And 2014 is where I go to the next level. So I remember this was around the time where Goku's mother was announced in the series, and I noticed that Thundershot was uploading videos, and he was doing a lot of news stuff. And I realized that me and Blackenfist were kind of like the discussion guys, and Thundershot was like a news and playthrough guy. So I said to myself, why don't we just team up with this guy? And I messaged him. He responded like almost instantly. We pretty much hit it off from there. He was a pretty cool guy. And we pretty much became friends, and I didn't realize how friendly and open a person could be, you know, without you even knowing him. I mean, Thundershot was a guy I knew absolutely nothing about, and literally in an hour, we're like just having chats, like sharing our real names, adding each other on Facebook. It was incredible to see that a person I just met could be that open that early. And, you know, I still keep doing my videos here and there, and one thing leads to another, and I meet Rhymestyle. And I remember the first reason I ever talked to Rhymestyle was because Thundershot wanted me to play, what was it called? It was this Dragon Block Z mod Minecraft game. And he wanted more people to play it to popularize the series. And he introduced me to Rhymestyle. And Rhymestyle was talking to me. He was looking at my channel. At the time, I actually, surprisingly, I know it may sound like a myth now, but I actually had more subscribers than Rhymestyle at one point. And, you know, in addition to talking about this Minecraft stuff, you know, Rhymestyle, he pretty much told me that I should be doing a lot more with my talent on YouTube, and he said that I should join a network and try to monetize my videos. And I wasn't even really making videos, money on my videos at all. I was pretty much just uploading whenever I felt like it. I wasn't even monetizing. I didn't think of being a partner. I didn't even take YouTube seriously. I was doing this purely as a bored college/high school kid in my earlier years, and eventually college kid who just had some free time on his hands. And that's why I just uploaded whenever I felt like it. And Rhymestyle's like, you should upload more. You should, you know, do better with your tags. And I noticed that after I started taking some advice from Rhymestyle, I started growing significantly more. And he knew everything about YouTube. Like, Rhymestyle was built to be a YouTuber. And, you know, he was one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And I should also say the same thing about KeiraBug. You know, Rhymestyle and KeiraBug were two of the nicest people I ever met. I mean, I didn't know that much about them, and similar to Thundershot, pretty much in just a few times of talking to them, we're like having in-depth conversations just about life. And, you know, they kind of took over like a big brother, big sister type of role in my life, because pretty much, with the exception of maybe two people, I'm like the youngest Dragon Ball YouTuber. I think ExperGamez and Josh are like the only people who are a little bit younger. And I even think Toastie might be my age. I don't know. But the point is, I'm one of the younger Dragon Ball YouTubers. And, you know, they really gave me a lot of advice about just life in general, especially, you know, talking about YouTube stuff with Dino. So, you know, we become friends. We're pretty close, and we start playing Minecraft together. Dino starts inviting me to do a lot of videos with him, and we pretty much just become good friends. And one thing that was interesting about Dino is he was just so friendly, and, you know, he just opened me into his life, and I really appreciated that about him. And pretty much time passes. I meet ZZtoastie. I meet Omega Pro. You know, so I'm starting to understand that there's like this bigger world to like this Dragon Ball YouTubing community. And then pretty much 2014 ends. It was a pretty solid year. You know, I pretty much went from having like, I don't even remember how many subs I had. But the point is, I had a lot of growth that year. 2014 was the year where I started maturing into a YouTuber. So 2013 was me figuring out how to do Dragon Ball videos. 2014 was me, you know, maximizing and truly finding myself as a YouTuber. So I went from basically being a guy who just uploaded on his free time to basically being a guy who started taking YouTube seriously. And then we move on to 2015. And this is probably the most interesting year in a nutshell. So I think it was late 2014 or early 2015. I don't even remember anymore. I think that's around the time where I met Josh. And I always knew who he was because he was always watching my videos and he was always commenting on them and, you know, sharing his thoughts about, you know, YouTube in general. And he always said he wanted to be a Dragon Ball YouTuber, and he always had inspirations. And I'm just going to tell you the honest truth. I saw some of Josh's videos, and to be honest with you, he'll openly admit I didn't think they were very good. I mean, I don't even think a lot of my older videos were very good either, but I didn't think they were the best videos. But one thing I noticed about Josh is that he was a hard worker. Like, he knew that he wasn't the best at what he was doing, and he kept trying. Like, he had the effort, and he just kept trying over and over again. And I remember I first talked to him because I think it was either Thundershot or Dino who added him to a Skype call. And we were just talking, and I also met Dr. Love, another cool guy, by the way. And, you know, pretty much from there on out, I just became friends with a lot more people. And the funny thing about all of this stuff is that Josh just kept improving and improving with every video he did. He got better visual quality. He sounded a lot more comfortable speaking in the mic. I mean, he went on camera a lot more to, you know, add more spice to his personality. And he just became a much richer YouTuber in a faster period of time. Like, his videos were already significantly better than, you know, a lot of the early stuff that I uploaded. And it was incredible because he learned really fast and he really became good at what he was doing. And I remember after doing a few shout-outs with me and Dino and stuff, I started noticing that Josh started to grow a lot more. And once me and Dino gave him a few shout-outs, he kind of took in those subs, and then he kind of just built his own audience from there. And I think it was great to see that a guy can just pretty much go from being a person who was not even anywhere near big on YouTube to just basically blowing up in a few months. And the funny thing about all of this, guys, is this wasn't much before afterwards where I met everybody else. So I remember what happened next is I was on a Skype conversation with Blackenfist, and he wanted me to be a part of this video with him. He wanted me to pretty much be a part of a video where he would discuss the whole bad father thing about Goku being a bad father with some of his supporters. And Josh added Geekdom to the Skype call. And keep in mind, around this, I think this was April or May-ish, maybe even June, I don't even remember. But around the time this happened, this was after my face reveal. And Geekdom, similar to Blackenfist, was a very, very, very active person in my comment section. So, like I said, guys, if you do comment frequently, I will notice you. Like, that's how I know a lot of people who've been watching my videos for a while, because you comment a lot. There are probably a lot of you who've been watching my videos for a while that never comment, and I would never know you watch my videos because you don't comment. But he was commenting he was very, very, very vocal in my comment section. So I knew who Geekdom was, and I heard people telling me to check out his channel, but I didn't know what his channel was. I didn't have the link. Nobody shared it. Like, I didn't even know who Geekdom was. I didn't even know he wanted to make videos with me. I heard he wanted to make videos with me. I didn't know. And, you know, he joins this Skype call that Blackenfist pretty much, you know, invites him to. And funny enough, we had like an insanely long conversation with me, Geekdom, and a few others, and pretty much after the Skype conversation, Blackenfist had to leave, you know, Josh had to leave, and I was just stuck on the Skype conversation with Geekdom. And I kid you not, in like 5 to 6 hours later, I'm talking to Geekdom like he's been a close friend of mine for years. And it's kind of weird because he was a little older than me, so I kind of looked up to him a little bit differently. Because, like, pretty much, with the exception of maybe Geekdom and Rhymestyle, all of the Dragon Ball YouTubers are pretty much in the same general age range as myself. So we're all pretty much generally the same age. And he was older, so he brought, you know, another perspective to Dragon Ball that I'd never thought about, because my older brother who got me into Dragon Ball is around the same age as Geekdom. So Geekdom kind of reminded me of my older brother because he was one of those OG Dragon Ball fans, like who were like teenagers when it was coming out, as opposed to my generation that were kids when it was coming out. So we were just talking about that. We were talking about life, women, you know, just work, school, like all of these things we talked about literally in the span of just meeting him a few hours before. And it was just incredible because, like, right after that, like, he just started giving me a lot of advice about non-Dragon Ball related stuff. And funny thing is, we became good friends. And I remember right after I met Geekdom, this is around the time that, you know, I started, you know, socializing with him more. We started doing some videos together. I wanted to really support his channel. And then he introduces me to Super Jayain from Space Australia. And Jay, surprisingly, you know, he was aware of my channel too. And he'd watched some of my videos in the past. And it was also fun to see that he was a hardcore Dragon Ball fan. And the interesting thing about Jay is that he gave a lot of different perspectives about Dragon Ball that most fans don't have. You know, most fans that I discuss Dragon Ball with, most of them are Bruce Falconer American dub fans. Blackenfist and I are what I would consider centrists, in the sense that we are very open to watching both types. And Geekdom was also another guy who kind of liked the Japanese dub. So it was really interesting to discuss with them and hear their perspectives, how they compared and contrasted like the American dub with the Japanese dub, because I liked hearing that type of feedback. They were like fans that I never really got to meet before, and they were also very knowledgeable about the show. And we had a lot of fun conversations. And pretty much I remember the first time I talked to Jay, I was editing a video the entire time when I was talking to him. This was around the time when that Shia LaBeouf meme, I think it was the Just Do It meme, was going rampant. And I just wanted to do my little fun little, in version of it too. So I was editing while I was talking to him. And we talked for hours, like at least 10 hours, and then he eventually had to leave. And pretty much from there, Geekdom and Super Jayain and I became friends too. Super Jayain was a very open, friendly guy, and he had a smaller channel, and he was another guy that I wanted to help out too, because I just felt that a guy with his knowledge and his feedback has a very unique perspective on the show. And I've always felt that one thing that makes Super Jayain awesome is that he has a very, very, very unique perspective of explaining things. Like, he knows how to break down something piece by piece and explain it in a simple fashion, without sounding biased. And I think that's one thing that I really was interested in listening to him. Like, he has a fantastic way of explaining things. So from here on out, Super Jayain and I become pretty good friends. And I remember a few weeks later, Danny introduces me to Mike from Laughingstock Media. And funny story about Mike and I were actually talking to each other for years, but I didn't realize that Mike Warren, he's not afraid of me saying his last name, I didn't know that Mike Warren was Mike from Laughingstock Media. And the reason why is because he actually, he made a thumbnail for me. When Dragon Ball Super was announced, he made me like a cool thumbnail where he made like Goku's hair like blue in the thumbnail. And I saw his name, but I didn't know who he was. And turns out this Mike from Laughingstock Media guy had been messaging me for years. And I had always remembered him because he was always sending me private messages, and I responded to a good amount of them. But I didn't know who he was, Mike. And the interesting thing about him is that Mike was very knowledgeable about movies. And I've always wanted to dab and talk to somebody who was really into talking about movies, because his knowledge of movies, in my opinion, I think Mike is more knowledgeable about movies than he is about Dragon Ball. Like, his movie knowledge is incredible. He's a movie encyclopedia. I've never seen somebody who, at his age, because he's a younger guy, I've never seen a person that young with a movie knowledge like that. So, I was asking him a lot of questions about like actors and stuff, and we were just having a fun conversation. And I remember we both talked about we did a video together. I think our first video was talking about future Teen Trunks. And Mike was just a cool guy. He'd make thumbnails for me from time to time, and he was just very fun. And I remember one time he wanted me to promote one of his videos. He wanted Blackenfist and me to upload 2 videos of his, which were basically, the most muscular moments in Dragon Ball Z and the most muscular moments in the movies. And I think those 2 videos really helped boost his popularity. And from there, Mike just kept making good videos. He had a very unique perspective. And, I also like the fact that, he was good friends with Harold too. And I think that Harold and Mike, really work very well together in their videos. So, outside of meeting both Mike and Harold, we go on pretty much to the next saga. And the next saga of my YouTube experience would probably have to be Uncanny Megan. So I remember that Uncanny Megan was a very popular cosplayer. And I remember, I don't know how or what caused it, but I saw her Twitter and then I think I saw her Facebook page, either one of those. And I'm like, wow, this girl, she's a really good cosplayer. And I saw that she had a YouTube channel too, and I was like, huh, why don't I help this girl out? She edits fantastic videos. Like, Megan puts a lot of effort into, editing her videos. And I said, let me help her out. So although it took me an insanely long amount of time and I had a lot of personal things that were holding me back from working on a lot of videos, I took forever to do it, but I uploaded an interview with her and I tried my best to promote her as best as I could. And pretty much from there on, she was pretty cool with me. She's a very friendly person. Me and her, when we were actually talking and doing the interview, like, funny thing is, like, we were cracking so many jokes with each other. And it was just funny because Megan's a person who laughs very easily, but not in like a goofy way. Like, she just finds things funny from what I've observed of her. And, pretty much from there on out, to just jump to the future really quickly, I remember when I did my first episode of my As Told by 90s podcast with JaxBlade, which I'll explain in just a second with who JaxBlade is. The funny thing is that Megan felt that she could add a lot towards, contributing towards our 90s podcast, or As Told by 90s Kids. It does not have to do with 90s shows. It's anybody who was born in the 90s. That's the point of the podcast, for those who are going to criticize me of that. But the point I'm trying to say is, Megan, she really blew me away with a lot of the knowledge that she had, because she remembered these shows as good, if not better than me in almost all instances. And it was just really incredible because I felt like I was talking to a person who pretty much grew up with me. And the same thing goes for JaxBlade, who I'll explain in a second, because we remember so many of these quirky, awkward things that only people in our age bracket would remember, and people who were older than us wouldn't remember it, and people who were younger than us wouldn't. It's only people in our age group who would remember these very particular funny things. So Megan was great. And when we move on to JaxBlade actually and I have a very interesting relationship too, because I kind of spoke to him beforehand, but not directly. JaxBlade is probably one of the earliest pioneers for helping out my channel, because I'd say in 2013, he was the first moderately sized YouTuber who found my channel. Because pretty much, there was no big channels who found me, and he was the biggest channel at the time. He had like maybe 8 to 10,000 subs, I don't remember. And he pretty much was giving me, a lot of exposure. And I do remember that as soon as he found my channel, I started noticing a significant increase in the amount of views that I was getting. Because before JaxBlade, I was not really getting that many views. But I don't know if it was him or if it was YouTube's algorithm changing, because it's around the time YouTube changed its algorithm. But I do notice that as soon as he found my channel, I started getting a lot more growth. And he was always active in my comment section. He was always supporting me. And I chatted with him in the comment section. But one day I decided to, ask him for a Skype. And we chatted and we just became good friends. And it was just funny because he was like, it was like I knew him all along, even though I didn't ever talk to him before, directly. And we've become good friends. We talk and text each other all the time. He's actually my personal fitness trainer, so he gives me a lot of advice. And I have noticed a lot of results after taking a lot of the advice he's given me. And Jax was just a cool guy. And, the whole thing about the whole 90s podcast stuff is pretty much we were just like on Skype one day. And he pretty much goes to me and he says, Quinn, or Qaaman, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you know what my real name is. It's pretty obvious at this point. He's like, let's play this game. So we played this game where like we were just playing like these shows that we remember growing up as kids with, like, for example, like the Samurai Jack intro. And pretty much like we would play like a few seconds of the song and we had like an X amount of time to guess what the song was. And for both of us, like we were guessing probably like 90% of these shows within like the first 5 seconds to show you the power of nostalgia. And after this, funny enough, you know, me and him had a random idea. And we were like, why don't we make a whole series where we just talk shit about, you know, all of the stuff that we grew up watching? And funny enough, I thought it was a great idea. And we decided to just do it. And we recorded the first 3 episodes together. You know, we recorded the first one, which was, you know, Dragon Ball Z, which I thought would be a great opening episode. And then we recorded Teen Titans and Rugrats behind the scenes. And Megan noticed that I uploaded it and she wanted to join it too. And from there on out, we pretty much have joined this team. And I think me, Megan, and Jax or Jordan all have a very interesting background. So that's pretty much my history with JaxBlade. He's an awesome dude. You know, he's helped me in many ways, you know, with YouTube and also off the court, because I've also gone through some really rough times that he was there to back me up with. So I really appreciate Jordan for that. And booyah to him. So Jordan kind of came before Megan, but I thought I should describe them next to each other. In terms of the order of who I met who, this is also around the time where I met Hail Zeon. I think I met Hail Zeon about a month or 2 after I met Megan. And Hail Zeon is probably the most interesting story. So let me explain to you his story. Me becoming friends with Zeon is probably the most unique way I met any Dragon Ball YouTuber. So this was around the time I'm pretty well acquainted with, you know, Danny and Jay. We're all good friends at this point. And Danny shows me this video of Hail Zeon. And I kid you not, word for word, the title was, "The Dragon Ball Community Can Get Fucked." He literally made a video called "The Dragon Ball Community Can Get Fucked." And I watched the video. I thought he was making a lot of great points. But I noticed that at the very end of the video, he said something, and I don't remember the exact quote, but he said something like, if you want to watch all of these shitty channels, or if you want to watch all of these, you know, fan fiction channels, he said something like that. Like, if you enjoy these type of videos, that's fine with you, but I don't give a shit. And as he was saying that, he had like a zoom and pan thing on the right side, like that was scrolling down. And I noticed that my channel was one of them. So it was like, so he's taking a shot at me, isn't he? I'm like, this guy is, he's literally saying that. And I know that it's not, if you're an editor, guys, and this is a little tip for you, for those of you who don't know edit videos. A video editor knows every single thing that's in a video, because that's how a video is created. You pretty much manually put everything in the video from scratch, you know, from the music, from the footage, from the clips, from the pictures, from the intro, the outro. Everything you see in a video was manually created. So I said, if he edited this video together, he was aware that he was exposing me like that. So I was like, who the fuck is this Zeon guy? So, you know, I commented on his video. I never got back to him. I don't know why. I think I just was busy. And I didn't even know he responded to me, if I remember correctly. He wanted to do a video with me because I wanted to talk to him, because I'm like, whoa, this guy has a very open-minded opinion on the subject. And then I remember after this, randomly, like maybe a few weeks or a month later, you know, Danny or Geekdom randomly adds me to a Skype call and Zeon's there. And the funny thing is, he was very shocked by me, and I was very shocked by him. He was, I don't want to say impressed, but he definitely thought I didn't have as much knowledge of the show as I had. He didn't know, he thought me and Blackenfist were not as knowledgeable of the series, and to be honest with you, he wasn't really a fan of our videos. He didn't really watch our videos, and he kind of got us confused all the time. Zeon actually always says that he got a lot of the Dragon Ball YouTubers confused with each other. And from here on out, although you might think that, you know, we started off with like a bumpy way of meeting each other, Zeon became a really cool guy. And because he's like older like Danny, I kind of looked at him as a different type of friend. And Zeon always gave me like really good input about like the older animes, and Zeon is a anime enthusiast, you know, like, yeah, I like anime. There's certain shows I really enjoy watching, but he's an enthusiast, you know, like he can talk in depth about so many different things. He loves, and the weird thing about Zeon is that he is very quirky in the sense that there are certain things that you would think a guy with his personality would hate that he loves, and there are certain things about Zeon that you think he would love but he hates. And the funniest thing about me and Hail Zeon, I'll share this, you know, another quick thing about him. I thought episode 8 of Dragon Ball Super was the best episode to date. I still think it was the best episode in the entire series. It had tension, it had good action, it was like a complete story all in one episode. It had humor with the whole oolong rock paper scissors thing. I loved episode 8 of Dragon Ball Super. I still think it was the best episode of the series. And Zeon thinks that was the worst episode of the series. And it's just so funny that, you know, we agree on a lot of episodes and we disagree on some, but I find it so interesting that the episode I think is the best is the episode he thinks is the worst. And if me and Zeon were to debate you about this, I can tell you 10 million reasons why that episode was fantastic, and he will tell you 10 million reasons why that episode was complete shit. And it's so funny how our minds work so completely different on analyzing. It's just incredible, and I just love watching Zeon's videos just to hear his feedback. Like, Zeon is one of those people that I actively look forward to seeing every video he uploads because I just want to hear him for his personality. I don't give a shit about what it is. Just hearing Zeon talk shit or talk, you know, great things about something is just incredible. He has one of the strongest YouTube personalities, and although Zeon might not be your conventional YouTuber in his approach to making videos and his personality, what I love about him is he really is the realest motherfucker in the Dragon Ball community. He speaks his mind. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care he doesn't care about his personality. He doesn't care how he's looked at. He could really care less. Like, if you had a bag of fucks and you asked Hail Zeon, could you just please, we need a fuck. Just spare me one fuck, Zeon. Give me just one fuck. He wouldn't give you any. He really wouldn't give you the smallest fuck you could in your life. And that's the funniest thing about him. Zeon just doesn't give a shit. And that's what I love about him. So, man, I talked a lot about Zeon. I really hope he watches this video. But yeah, so that's pretty much my Hail Zeon story. And we butt heads sometimes, but it's kind of out of like brotherly love. We disagree a lot, but, you know, at the end of the day, he's an awesome guy. And I look forward to meeting him one day. So, pretty much after Hail Zeon, I mean, the next person, I guess, would probably be Toastie. Now, I had already known who Toastie was, but I didn't really talk to him that much, you know, until he started joining our Skype conversations. And Toastie, he has a very unique mentality on things because we've talked a lot off the air about a lot of personal things, and he has a lot of very polaristic views on some things in life, and I like that about him. But Toastie was always very helpful because he was the one who helped me, you know, learn how to do certain things with Adobe Premiere. And he's always like the guy that I could rely on. Like, if I need somebody to help me with Audition, like, he was always like my tech guy, you know, and I really appreciate that about Toastie. Toastie's very knowledgeable about how YouTube works. He always gives me good advice, and it always works out. He knows what to do, and ZZtoastie is just a very fun guy. And the funny thing about him is he comes across as this calm, cool, and collected guy, but he can also get very explosive at times, and I think that's really interesting. Like, he's literally like, he has like anger all boiled up inside of him, and you would be surprised sometimes because, like, wow, you know, Toastie's going off, you know. So Toastie is just another awesome guy in the Dragon Ball YouTube community, and I always enjoy talking to him whenever I get the chance. He's always busy, but, you know, Toastie's awesome. So I'm thinking who I'm missing left. I mean, I guess the next person would probably have to be Amber, also known as Gamer Girl. Amber and I have a very unique relationship because I remember the first I'm not going to give you guys the personal details, but the first time I had a serious conversation with Amber, I had hung out with a girl, and let's just say that me and this particular girl that I was hanging out with one night, it didn't end the way I wanted it to. Now, you can interpret this video in whatever way you want. Some people are going to post certain things in the comment section. You can interpret what happened whatever way you wanted. But let's just say it did not end the way I wanted it to end. And it ended on a very sour, bad note. And I was just so dumbfounded and just confused. And I wanted to talk to a woman. And I'm like, listen, Amber, I don't know you that well, but can you just chat with me? And I just told her the story, and Amber and I spent like 2 or 3 hours just chatting about life. I mean, we talked about that subject, but then we just talked about, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff in life and, you know, her personal life, you know, being a Canadian. And she just gave me a lot of input about herself, and I really love that about Amber. Like, Amber just opened up to me so much. She's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. Every single time I upload a video, she always likes and retweets it. You know, she always tries to help every way she can. She always watches my videos. She always gives me feedback. Amber is an extremely helpful and generous person. And she's one of those people that I wish I could meet in real life. And guys, I don't want you guys to make any perverted comments about me saying that. I'm saying that in the sense that Amber is one of those genuine people that I just really just wish I could be around, because she's just an awesome person, and you're not going to find too many people in life like Amber that are as friendly and open in that sense. And, you know, Amber is like a big sister to me in many ways, and in many ways, Amber, she's there for me. You know, she always has my back, and we always have a lot of fun, silly conversations on Skype. Similar to Mike from Laughing Stock Media, we always have a lot of fun, silly conversations. So, pretty much from Amber, we move on to Maria, MsDBZBabe. I don't forget you, Maria. Now, I recently met Maria not that long ago, but the interesting thing about her is I remember that Maria has one of the oldest Dragon Ball channels out there. Like, she's been doing stuff for a long, long time. And the interesting thing about it is, I just feel like Maria is probably one of the most creative Dragon Ball people out there. Like, she is just, like, her level of creativity for artwork and for creating these clips and stuff, like, it kind of boggles my mind, because it tells you how Dragon Ball affects the way people live their lives. And obviously it affects the way I definitely lived my life. But for Maria, like, to show how much of an enthusiast she is for the series, how she goes through all of these things just to create these pictures and all that stuff, I found that was incredible. She's one of the biggest hardcore fans I've ever met. And, you know, just to tell you, because I've talked to these people, Maria, Super Jayain, JaxBlade, and Megan all have the best, and by far the best, Dragon Ball collections I've ever seen. I've actually seen Geekdom's too in person. His is pretty big too. But I mean, JaxBlade, Super Jayain, Megan, and Maria, MsDBZBabe, they have so much Dragon Ball stuff. It like, their level of fandom is just incredible. And, you know, I just really appreciate people like that. And Maria's very friendly. You know, she helped me out with, you know, some thumbnails, and I enjoy talking to her, and she's one of those new people that I met that just is fun to talk to. She has a very unique perspective on things. And to also add another person, I don't want to say her real name in case she doesn't want me to say her real name. I don't know if she's sensitive to that, but Saiyan Princess is another person who I recently met too. And, you know, I had a lot of personal conversations with her. And she, too, is another person that, you know, even though I recently met, she really opened up to me as well. And she tried her absolute best to, like, you know, just share her life with me. And I just thought that was great, because it's like, I'm just some guy on the internet, and you know, it was just incredible to see how people can impact your life and how you can impact theirs. And Saiyan Princess is just a great girl. Shout out to her. Awesome person. And pretty much from here on out, I'm thinking, am I missing anybody out there? Shout out to Nathan from Frozen Particle. Awesome kid. Always make sure that he always joins my streams. He's always very, 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 very great in my streams, because he always reads the questions while we're playing video games in the background. Awesome kid, makes awesome content. I'm going to post a link in the description so you can check out everybody. I wouldn't, a lot of my streams wouldn't be successful without Nathan. Awesome guy, makes great content, needs more attention and subs. In addition to Nathan, let's see, who else am I forgetting here? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, and I don't want to end this video and then like somebody gets pissed off, because there's a big thank you at the end. Okay, how could I forget? I have ExperGamez. So I've completely forgot about ExperGamez. ExperGamez is probably the most interesting person here, because he messaged me way before he knew anybody else, and I actually responded to his email. He made 2 videos talking about how he would love to do a video with me, and I said, absolutely. It's kind of hard for us to work together, because he has a very peculiar time zone. But interestingly enough about ExperGamez is, I mentioned him in a video, and I took some of the thoughts that he was explaining, because he made a video, How Strong is Hercule? And it's just really awesome to see that, at his age, he's already doing way better than I did when I was starting off YouTube. And to think that he too, similar to me, like ExperGamez is very similar to me in the sense that we were just both random guys who were just uploading for boredom, like we didn't think of this as something serious. And it's just great to see how much, he's grown, and he's definitely found a personal and creative niche for himself on YouTube, because he's just a very, very, very talented young man. And I think that the sky is the limit for ExperGamez. He's the Gohan of the group. He could just do great things, and there's a reason why I feel that he is where he is right now, because he's just awesome in every sense imaginable. And I just wished him best of luck, man. And in the future, I'd love to make videos with him if he ever has time. And outside of ExperGamez, I'm thinking, who else am I missing? I can't think of anybody else that I consistently talk to that I'm missing. I think I nailed everybody. I mean, Blackenfist, we already know the story with him. I think I pretty much nailed most people except for Duct Tape, and I was saving him for last. Duct Tape and I are probably, I don't like using the word best friends, but he's one of the closest friends I have in life. Now, contrary to what some people may say, Duct Tape is the only person of the Dragon Ball YouTubers or YouTubers I collab with that knows me, that knew me on a personal level before anybody else did. I've known Duct Tape since I was literally 4 years old. We've known each other before we were even in the 1st grade. We go back that far. And we still keep in contact with each other. Hence, I made a YouTube channel. We play a lot of video games together. He's just been one of my closest friends. And although I want to, beat the living shit out of him sometimes, because, he started the entire chopstick meme about my channel. And I don't think it's a big deal, but he did start it. And he always teases me, and I always tease him. I love Duct Tape like a brother, man. Like, we've gone through a lot in life, man. And, like, he's probably the closest friend I have in life, and to just think that he's done, just to think that you have a friend that you've known for so long in your life, and now, 15 years later, you're like making YouTube videos together, like to just see that you have those friends. Because one thing I've learned about life, guys, and I've learned this the hard way, is that not every friend you are acquainted with will always be there for you. You know, there are some friends that I was so close to in high school and middle school and elementary school. Like, we were so tight. Like, we would talk all the time. Like, we were the best of the best of the best of friends. And I don't even talk to them today. And it's kind of scary because it's like life really picks and chooses who are going to be your long-term friends. And Blackenfist, you know, along with, you know, a lot of the other Dragon Ball YouTubers, these guys have become like family to me. Like me and Blackenfist sometimes, we like, I don't want you guys to think like all of our chats are about Dragon Ball. Yeah, a lot of times it's about Dragon Ball, but a lot of times we talk about a lot of things that aren't Dragon Ball related. You know, like, for example, I was talking to Blackenfist earlier about, you know, boxing, because, you know, he's a big boxing guy with geekdom, and I'm a casual boxing fan, so I was like learning from him, and, you know, I talked some basketball with him, and, you know, he's just a fantastic guy, and I really appreciate all of my friends who've been there for me. Shout out to James Krznaric. You know, he was a big supporter of my channel, and turns out, you know, we added each other on Skype and became good friends, and we have each other as friends on Facebook, and we just talk crap on Skype and on the phone, just talking about sports. He's a big sports fan. You know, I love James Krznaric like a brother too. Never met the guy personally, but, you know, that's the weirdest thing, how like on the internet you can make these friends with people that you've never met before physically, and you could be good friends. The only YouTuber I met before physically was Geekdom. And besides him, I've never met any of these other guys outside of Duct Tape. And it's just crazy because we talk like on a daily basis, like as if we're like people who know each other, you know, person to person. And it's really incredible to see, you know, what the YouTube journey is. So I think, I mean, I'm seriously still thinking here. I'm not trying to stall this video or anything. I'm just thinking, am I missing out on anybody else? Because I just don't want to forget somebody and then they get upset in the comment section. I can't think of anybody else I thought I talked to on a consistent basis that I'm forgetting. And I really hope I don't. But I really can't think of anybody else. I really honestly can't think of another person that I speak to on a consistent basis that I collab with for YouTube. I cannot think of a single one. Am I forgetting? No, okay, well, Lord Frieza, I guess I should mention him. Lord Frieza's I recently met Lord Frieza, you know. Obviously, it's kind of hard to talk to him because he lives in hell, but, you know, Frieza's a very interesting person. He personally has made some racist remarks, you know, about Saiyans and Nameks, calling them slugs and monkeys, but, you know, Frieza... The one thing I liked about Frieza is that Frieza actually gave me a compliment on, you know, on some of my videos, and to come from a person, Frieza himself, I mean, a lot of the Dragon Ball series is based around him. That truly meant a lot. And the fact that when he saw me playing my playthroughs, you know, Frieza was telling me that he thinks I do a pretty good job of some of the characters, and to think that I can voice some of the characters that he's been acquainted with in his life, I just think it was incredible. Frieza's just an awesome guy. Whenever I get a chance to talk to him on Skype or pop into one of his streams, I love doing so. Like, Frieza's just great. You should definitely check Frieza out. And this is the real Frieza, guys. This is no BS. So, pretty much, I'm thinking here, did I forget anybody? I can't think of anybody else to think about. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm just running this on and on, because I have a big special thanks at the end, but, man, I can't think of anybody else. No, I think I pretty much nailed everybody. I really hope somebody doesn't get pissed at me for forgetting them. I said a lot of people here. I guess if there's one more thing to leave this video with, guys, to give a big thanks to, it's you. You know, all of you guys who've been supporting me. You know, guys, you guys are my #1 motivation in life. You know, you guys are pretty much responsible for the one thing I did in my life that I felt proud and accomplished of, you know. Like, without you guys, I wouldn't be where I am, you know. And one thing I'll say about YouTube, and this is a very, very, very true fact. I was watching MatPat's video the other day about, you know, YouTube and, you know, search feeds and all this stuff. And he was talking about the Fine Bros. And the interesting thing is this. you guys, sorry about that. You guys are pretty much our boss. When you press that red button, you're basically hiring us to either inform or entertain you or provide any type of content that you want. And when you unsubscribe from us, you're pretty much firing us. And to think that so many people have hired me, to provide content for them, it really makes me feel like I have a presence, and in my whole life, guys, I'm going to share a little bit of, inside Qaaman or Quinn. I was never a popular person growing up as a kid, and I'm not talking popular meaning like, the kid who hung out with the cool kids or whatever. I'm meaning popular meaning I was not a guy that people really wanted to be around. I was a nerd. I was a social reject. I was a guy that people didn't like. I was a guy, and you guys are gonna think this is one of the most ironic things ever. Actually, it's not ironic. One of the biggest turnarounds in life is the fact that I was teased because I liked Dragon Ball a lot older than my other friends. When all of my friends stopped caring about Dragon Ball and stopped giving a fuck about it, I still gave a fuck about it. I mean, hence, look at me today. I mean, I think it pretty much speaks for itself how much I love the series. And I wouldn't, and to think that my nerdy fantasies and the amalgamation of all of my geeky thoughts have been formed into this YouTube persona of Qaaman, and that people are attracted to that is just incredible because, quite honestly, I never found a lot of people I could talk to about a lot of these things growing up. And it really makes me feel awesome when I could, go in the comment section and interact with you guys. And I've been trying my best to, talk to you guys in the comment section and hear what you guys have to say, because it's honestly fun. I do YouTube because I love to hear what people have to say, Yeah, it could be a stressful job at times because, it is insanely time consuming and it's a never ending job. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just great to see that, people can, just watch your videos and you're just some random guy, behind a bunch of images and music and clips and pictures. It's just incredible to see all of that stuff. So I thank all of you guys. I'm not going to give any supporters, and I'm not going to use the word, and I agree with Geekdom on this, guys. I'm not going to call you guys fans or subscribers anymore. I feel like using those terms are kind of like diminishing who you are. It's making me look like I'm on some type of pedestal, and I'm not. I'm really nothing, guys. Guys, I'm nothing. I want you guys to understand this. I'm a nobody. I am a random college nerd that makes videos. That's who I am. I'm no celebrity. I'm no popular guy. I mean, I'm just a nerd. And to think that I've been able to accomplish what I have because of you guys is incredible. And I appreciate all of you for that, guys. I'm not going to, as I was saying before, I'm not going to name any supporters' names because I don't think it's fair, because even though there are some people who do comment on my videos a lot and I do use certain names over and over again, it's not fair because a lot of you guys could be my biggest supporters and I don't know because you never comment. You could be watching my videos for years and you never say anything. Today could be the first comment, that, you ever post on a video, and I just honestly just think it's just so great to see how much people out there, truly, genuinely care. I mean, and the funny thing is, I can tell people how I actually care about me as the person, too, because some people just come to me for my content, but I'm starting to realize that the more I do YouTube, people care about me for who I am. Like when I see people, when I made that video talking about a lot of the personal stuff I went through, there were people who were there for me. And when I did that clickbait video, there were some people who genuinely felt what I was feeling. I'm over the whole clickbait thing, but it did piss me off that, I bust my ass spending, weeks, writing scripts and, rehearsing my lines and doing research and spending hours editing and learning an entire new editing software in Premiere just to put out these videos. And then these fucking assholes, they just, make up complete bullshit and they get fucking paid to lie to people. That's unfair. You're getting paid to lie to people. That is wrong. And that's what really infuriated me, because I think people like you guys deserve better. So for all of you guys out there, for my birthday, I wanted to celebrate this with you guys. You guys are awesome supporters. I'm doing YouTube a lot longer than I ever thought I would, and I still think I got years left in this thing because I still feel like I have more to give to you guys. And I appreciate all of the support. You guys have done so much for me in my life in so many facets. If it wasn't for you guys, I couldn't even do half the things I'm doing in life. You guys are responsible for providing so many things for me that I can't even begin to explain. And if you're still watching this video, I mean, you pretty much are a pretty big trooper, because I'm looking at the timer on Adobe Audition. It's about an hour now. So if you're still listening to this video, guys, I don't know what to say for a hashtag. I mean, let's think. Let's see. A good hashtag is you know, let's make it simple. Hashtag hair and still going. That's a good hashtag of the day. I'm here and I'm still going, guys. I'm here and I'm still going, and I'm going to continue to keep providing content for you guys, and I hope you guys like this birthday special. And you know, you guys are the best, man. I can't use enough superlatives to describe you guys. And Geekdom, if he's watching this, he's gonna be like, oh, I'm just sucking up to people, but I'm really not. You guys are awesome people, and I really appreciate it. Not everybody likes me, guys. Not everybody's gonna have nice things to say about every video I say. There's a lot of people who don't like me. But the fact that every time I upload a video, people are going to be there, you know, having fun conversations, trying to support me, it's just an incredible feeling, guys. So I appreciate you for everything you've done. It's been 4 years. Late December this year, it's going to be my 5th year on YouTube, and I look forward to continuing to make YouTube strong. So please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys. And in this video, I'm going to organize it for you later on. I'm going to put timestamps, because this is a really long video, for all the YouTubers that I talked about individually. So if you just want to hear me talk about one specific person, I could do it. Don't care how many views this video gets. Don't give a shit what anybody says negatively, because I just want to share my thoughts, and that's it.